End of at-will employment in New York, Senate Bill 5459. Remedies. If an employer has committed a wrongful discharge, the employee may be awarded lost wages and fringe benefits for a period not to exceed 4 years from the date of discharge, together with interest in the lost wages and fringe benefits. If an employer has committed a wrongful discharge, the employee may be awarded lost wages and fringe benefits for a period not to exceed 4 years from the date of discharge, together with interest on the lost wages and fringe benefits. Wait a second. So if the people that put a warrant on me because they thought I lived in Maine and didn't pay taxes I paid think that I wrongfully discharged somebody, I could have to give them 4 years of their salary plus interest and wages. So they can make the complaint 3.5 years in and then get 4 years of money for free. The people that don't know how to say what their own laws are, like this dude in this video, could come to the conclusion that I wrongfully fired somebody.
Won't answer my phone calls or text messages or emails. Does that have to get entered into the Leads Online database, or how does that work?
If that guy disagrees with the reason that I used to fire somebody, that man could be responsible for me having to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars to a disgruntled ex-employee. The people...
I guess, I don't know how to put this delicately. The elevator wasn't going to the top over there.
People that work at the Supreme Court are so dumb that their own coworkers on a recorded telephone line will say that they are idiots. Yet these are the people that get to decide if an ex-employee who is disgruntled can take me for $320,000. Because at the end of the day, who's going to make this decision? Who is going to decide whether or not I wrongfully terminated somebody? The city, the state, the people that run the city and the state. Okay, so here's my take on this. I have always taken chances on people, and I have fired people very quickly. I am not reading the rules and regulations. I'll be 100%. Can I be honest with you? I don't read the 900-page manual they give me on what you're allowed and not allowed to fire somebody for, what forms you have to fill out before you fire somebody. I don't do write-ups because I believe that if you are physically signing a form and doing this, that I am treating you like a 10-year-old. I will tell people what I expect. I'll tell people where I'm disappointed, where I think they could be doing better, and so on and so forth. And then I let people go. I have hired people who have been to local prison. I've hired people who have spent almost a decade in federal prison. I have hired people who have been homeless. I've hired people who have had drug addictions and where you could see the results of their drug. I have hired people that nobody in their right mind would ever hire, that have no chance of getting a job anywhere, because I think there might just be some chance with you. And sometimes I am unfortunately proven wrong. There was no potential in you. You actually kind of do deserve to not have a job anywhere. And sometimes I have been pleasantly surprised by people who were loyal, did high quality work, and were better than the people that didn't have a checkered past. There is no way in hell I would ever take a chance on somebody that has been to prison if this passed. I am not taking a chance on you. If you seem, even if your personality could be weird, I honestly, if this is a thing, I probably wouldn't have started hiring people at all. Like once my business started to expand, because here's the thing, when I started hiring people, when I first hired somebody, I had a few $1,000s in the bank. So I didn't have enough money to pay back wages of all this stuff. I had literally enough money to get me into the next week. If this legislation existed at the time that I hired my first person, I would have let the fear and the anxiety overcome me, and I would have said, you know what? That's too much of a risk. I'm not doing that. Once I started to get popular, what I would have done is I would have increased my prices to the point where most people said, I don't want to deal with this, screw this, and I would have kept my business small. Some people tell me that they're experts in something, and then you hire them, and it takes them 9 hours to do a task that you figure out to do yourself while drunk in 45 minutes. Not kidding. I hired this one guy. I had him working for me for 4 months. He knew how to do something I didn't know how to do, but it would always take him 6 to 9 hours to do it. And I kind of poked and prodded from time to time, just trying to figure out why it took this long. And then one time, a friend and I, while we were wasted, we went back to the store late at night before we took a cab ride home. And we got to the store, we messed with the machine, and in 45 minutes on one of my donor boards, we figured out how to make this repair work. I could barely walk straight, but we figured it out in 45 minutes. So I let that guy go. I didn't have 5 different write-ups explaining it. I didn't have documentation saying this is the average time that this specific job finding PM sleep S4L should take based on industry standards, because there are no industry standards for what we do. I didn't have a panel. I didn't convene. Like, I didn't do any of that. I just said, like, I'm done. And like the point is, we have very high standards. And the reason that we have the ratings we do is because we have high standards, we stick to them, and we don't compromise. Like this stuff over here. Every person that has been fired has usually been a person that, wouldn't have lived up to this. Like it's difficult. This is hard. At any given time, somebody could massively destroy that. Many of the people that got me these reviews were people that no other business in their right mind would hire. And I know that they wouldn't have hired them because some of these people have told me I've tried to get jobs at all these other places and because of XYZ reason they didn't hire me. You pass a law like that? Oh, hell no. I'm not taking chances on anybody. Like, why would I? It's so weird. Like, and this is the thing. I know there's going to be so many people that say, you fight for the rights of people to repair. Why don't you fight for the rights of workers? Yeah, like, I think you should be able to have a break. Like, I think you have the right to get paid overtime if you stay over. I think you should get paid for every hour that you're clocked in. I think you should have a proper workplace. Again, one of the things you may notice is all of my soldering workbenches for all of my employees have a $700 fume extractor there because I don't want them inhaling garbage. I think that, we get vacation time, everything else. By all means, workers' rights. Do you not have the right to quit? Like, if you have the right to quit, why do I not have the right to fire you? Like, I don't understand this. It's just insane. Like, the idea of wrongful termination in this way, again, like outside of the whole, you fired somebody based on sexual orientation, race, anything like that. Because that's not what this is going to be limited to. This is not going to be limited to sexual orientation, race, stuff like that. This is, oh God. Let's see. I'm kind of curious. How are they actually looking to use this? Let's take a look at the Senate bill itself. Oh man, I left New York just in time, man. I literally left just in time. Thank God. If I was here for let's read the bill. You know what? We're going to read the bill. It's only 5 pages, right? Okay, I have my gut reaction. Admittedly, there's my gut reaction. Introduced by Senator Jackson Comrie Salazar, read twice and ordered printed to the committee an act to amend the labor law in relation to enacting the Safeguarding of Employees and Accountability for Termination Act. Safeguarding employees and accountability. Okay, this is definitions, elements of wrongful discharge, remedies. Okay, so what is a wrongful discharge? Because that's going to be a big one. I tried Graphene OS. It was easy, and as advertised, I can't make do without Android Auto. Donate it to Graphene and we'll recommend. Interesting. Well, thank you for trying out Graphene OS. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure they appreciate your donation. Thank you. So what I'm interested in, again, if they say that a wrongful termination is like my boss wrote in company chat that I'm the N-word, then fine. Fine. But if wrongful discharge is my boss said that I'm slow at my job and customers are pissed off at my work, then fuck this bill. Let's see. Discharge includes a constructive discharge as defined in subdivision 1 of this section and any other termination of employment, including resignation, elimination of the job. Oh, wait, elimination of the job counts? Thank you. How does elimination of the job count? Okay, here's just one example, right? So I have somebody that, I used to have somebody at my company, their job all day was to replace screens. Like, that was it. So with the newer MacBook Pros, and I'd appreciate it, you just put the questions till later. I'm not going to answer them right now because I'm in rant mode here. So you're going to be wasting your money. Like this. Okay, so with the newer MacBooks, replacing the screen is much more involved than with, shut up, asshole, is much more involved than with the older ones. Like, you have all these layers and like there's shit that you can break. It's very easy to fuck up screen replacement on the newer MacBooks. They're not like, a 5-minute job with a basic screwdriver anymore. So because of this, I had somebody whose literal job it was to do nothing but this. And that specific person who did nothing but this also demonstrated zero interest in learning anything else. Like, for the 6 or 7 years that we worked together, no interest. And I tried to teach him board repair, tried to show him other stuff, had no interest in learning anything else. Could literally only do this all day. Let's hypothetically say, let's just, I don't know, come up with the imaginary scenario where the manufacturer whose products you fix for a living completely destroys the supply chain for screens so that you can't buy screens anymore. So you used to be able to buy screens for the 10 fucking years you were in business, and now you can't anymore because the manufacturer's a let's just say that happens. Let's say that you have a job where, like, literally the job exists based on the supply chain of a company that takes it away. That gets counted? That could be a wrongful discharge? I'm just raging reading this. Failure to recall or rehire any other cutback in the number of employees for legitimate business region? Wait, okay. Discharge includes a constructive discharge as defined in this subsection. any other cutback in number of employees for a legitimate business reason. This has to be a meme. Please tell me if I'm misreading this. If somebody in the chat is a lawyer, tell me if I am misreading this. Discharge includes a constructive discharge as defined in subdivision 1 of this section, and any other termination of employment, including resignation, elimination of the job, failure to recall or rehire, and any other cutback in number of employees for a legitimate business reason. So if I have a legitimate business reason to eliminate a job because I physically cannot buy the part anymore to offer a service that this one employee was supposed to do, bruh. Fringe benefits means the value of any employer-paid vacation leave, sick leave, medical insurance plan, disability insurance plan, and life insurance plan in force on the date of the termination. 4. Good cause means any reasonable job-related grounds for an employee's dismissal based on A, the employee's failure to satisfactorily perform job duties, B, the employee's disruption of the employer's operation except when engaging in concerted activity, C, the employee's material or repeated violation of an express provision of the employer's written policies. This seems like the reasonable part. Fringe benefits. A good cause means any reasonable job-related grounds for an employee's dismissal. Okay. A, the employee's failure to satisfactorily perform job duties. B, the employee's disruption of the employer's operation except when engaging in concerted activity. C, the employee's material or repeated violation of an express provision of the employer's written policies. Or D, other legitimate business reasons determined by the employer while exercising the employer's reasonable business judgment. The legal use of a consumable product by an employee off the employer's premises during non-working hours. The other legitimate business reasons determined by the employer while exercising the employer's reasonable business judgment. The legal use of a consumable product by an employee off the employer's premises during non-working hours is not a legitimate business reason. Okay, so I think what they're saying is like, if you're, does this mean like if you're eating weed brownies or something? I think they're referring to eating weed brownies. The use of a consumable product that affects in any manner an employee's ability to perform job-related employment responsibilities or the safety of other employees. An employee who, on a personal basis, has a professional service contract with an employer and the unique nature of the services provided authorizes the employer as part of the service contract to limit the use of certain products. 3. An employer that is a non-profit organization that, as one of its primary purposes or objectives, discourages the use of one or more of the lawful products by the general public. Or 4, an employer that takes action based on the belief that the employer's actions are permissible under an established substance abuse or alcohol program or policy, professional contract or collective bargaining agreement. Leave of absence means an employee's absence from work for a period of more than 5 consecutive working days for any reason other than holidays or vacations. Lost wages means the gross amount of wages that would have been reported to the Internal Revenue Service's gross income on Form W-2 and includes overtime payments, any bonuses, and additional compensation deferred at the option of the employee. Darkest Bunny, so you are misreading it because the elimination of the job may be wrong, but the elimination itself doesn't make it wrong. If the job becomes impossible to do, the firing is reasonable. That's the thing. Again, at the end of the day, my problem is that the person that's going to decide this is this dude. Is like, again, the problem at the end of the day is the person deciding it is.
Phone calls or text messages or emails. Does that have to get entered into the Leads Online database, or how does that work?
Oh.
That's the problem with that. Like, again, at the end of the day, I'm trusting that person with power.
Good, I do have the
I don't want to give that
file.
person more power. I don't. So there's a new bill in New York State where if you fire somebody and they make an argument that you wrongfully terminated them, and that fuckface at the city agrees, you could have to pay them 4 years of wages. Oh shit! Can you remember this? Oh man, how many of those would you have gotten hit with? Yeah. The shipping guy. Too many. The Grandpa Simpson meme one. I'm not even gonna say that one on stream. You definitely would have got hit for the Grandpa Simpson meme one. I don't know. Should I tell the story or no? I'll let chat choose. The discharge, okay, elements of wrongful discharge. Here we go, the good part. A discharge is wrongful only if the discharge was not for good cause and the employee had completed the employer's probationary period of employment, or the employer materially violated an express provision of its own written personnel policy prior to the discharge, and the violation deprived the employee of a fair and reasonable opportunity to remain in a position of employment with the employer. Has broad discretion when making a decision to discharge any managerial or supervisory employee. Okay, that's appreciated. So if you're firing somebody that's higher up in the chain, it's literally written into the law. Okay, I hate this a little less, but it's usually not management that's getting fired, because you have to pass a lot to get to the point of management. S748, remedies. If an employer has committed a wrongful discharge, the employee may be awarded lost wages and fringe benefits for a period not to exceed 4 years from the date of discharge, together with interest on the lost wages and fringe benefits. See, the problem with that punishment being so high, I'm going to find because it's after midnight, I can't find a good analogy. So I'm going to use an analogy that's going to piss people off, but I'm going to do it anyway to try to prove a point. So I was reading this article the other day, and it was talking about the abortion law in Texas and how there was one article written in response to it where they were saying a lot of the cases under which the hospitals were saying we can't do anything for you due to the abortion law in Texas, they actually were allowed to because the law allows them to. The issue is that the hospital was afraid of liability or they're afraid of it. So essentially the problem is when the punishment is so great, people don't even walk up to the line. Like they don't say, okay, this is legal, this is not. They're just so afraid that they stay back here. And that again, when it's the part over here that says that there are good cause reasons. So where's the good cause section over here? This is actually a really horrible font to write this in. Like it's all bold and underlined, which is, I don't know, even the way that New York Senate writes bills is painful to read. Okay, like the fact that there is a discussion of good cause in here. Good cause means that the employee's failure to satisfactorily perform job duties, the employee's disruption of the employer's operation, this part is not worrisome to me. This part is not because again, everybody that I fired, it's going to be A or B. It's going to be A or B. Like this is always it. If you're doing something that's risking us having this rating, then you're out of here. The problem, again, is that the penalty for being wrong is 4 years of your pay. 4 years of your pay. Like you're talking $200,000 to $400,000. Because of penalties and interest. And again, the problem that I have is not even that. It's that the person that is choosing this for me is a person that, because you have to understand here, like it's not even my words. This isn't even my words. Literally, the people that work for the city and the state are open about the fact that they're morons.
Did this happen when he wasn't served? And honestly, I guess I don't know how to put this delicately. The elevator wasn't going to the top over there.
The elevator wasn't going to the top over there. So I'm not even necessarily afraid. I'll be honest with you. The way the bill is phrased so far, I'm not that scared of it. That's not the part that bothers me. The part that scares me is the fact that this brain dead, smooth dead koala
and they won't answer my phone calls or text messages or emails. Does that have to get entered into the Leeds online database, or how does that work?
Oh.
Leeds online database, or how does that work?
Oh. That's the guy that could potentially cost me $200,000 to $400,000 if I have a disgruntled ex-employee. No, am I hiring more people under these circumstances? Are you insane? Hell no. You ever break up with a psychotic ex and you realize 1.5 years later when you see them on the news and in prison because they tried to rob a bank or some shit, or they killed their ex-girlfriend, and you're like, thank God I dumped that guy. You ever feel that way? I have that feeling right now. It's like, oh man. No, it gets rid of at will. So they have a recourse to say I was wrongfully discharged and you can get 4 years of wages. Actually, you know what? Gets rid of just because, right? We hit mute. We do this. They'd be hauling me off to prison for this, not you. One of the trigger-happy management is over there right now. Following any verdict or award in favor of the discharged employee, a court of competent jurisdiction, competent, this would not apply in New York State. Honestly, this bill is not written poorly. I'll give it that. I was expecting to read this bill and be a lot angrier than I was. My main point of anger is not the text of the bill so far. My main point of anger is the fact that I don't trust the person that is going to be coming up at the decisions. I don't trust the person who's involved in any of this decision-making process. And like, I'm not making this up. I record all of it. Oh, I didn't even include the court one. That was the 3-hour phone call with the person that's like, oh, I don't know what the penalty is for this. I've never done this before. Oh wow, let me call my supervisor. I have a timestamp so that I can bring it up easily. Here we go.
Consumer affairs case before, so I
never done this before.
What I'm going to do, since again, admittedly, I have never done consumer affairs case before.
I've never actually done a court case before. It's not like I worked for the fucking Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings. It's not like I'm a fucking judge or anything. I've never done a case before. It's New York City. I've never been asked to work before. I just sit here and play with my cat all day. I just sit here and pet my fucking cat all day. You want to hear this conversation? This conversation goes on for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. Okay, back to the bill. Like, at the end of the day, you have to understand, those are the people that get to decide whether a disgruntled person can just rip $500,000 from you. Like, you understand that? Like, in theory, yes, we don't want people getting terminated wrongly. In practice, she is going to be making the fucking decision. Honestly, I would take ChatGPT over this. Like, if I had to take my chances, if the decision was made as to whether or not I go to prison, we're between ChatGPT or this.
And that's, right. Because I'm reading this, for the first time.
I'm reading this for the first time. Like, it's not like I've ever had to be a fucking judge for a case before. It's, I sound like I'm probably over 60 years old, and, I've probably been doing this for 50 years, but the city's never asked me to work before. I never had to work to get my fucking salary. Yeah, like, no, nothing. Oh, man. I would let a fucking AI decide my fate before any of these people. AI is taking over the world right now, art world. No, it's not. If you're a good artist, you do not care about AI. Seriously, if you're a good artist, you're fine. Like, you can go on Twitch, you could stream yourself drawing stuff or playing music. People will love you. You know who's by AI art? People on like Fiverr making logos for $2. Like, if you're a real artist, you're good. I am not going to go to a concert to watch an AI symphony play. It's like when I go to see Austin Symphony Orchestra and I pay $280 for a ticket, it's not to see a bunch of fucking robots play, it's to see people play. What if we want to be mediocre? What about the right of people to be mediocre? Go work for New York State government. Yes. If you take a date. Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm autistic. I took a fucking woman to a date at a symphony orchestra. Like, here's my, there you go. There's my reasoning. That's my defense right there. That's my idea. I don't know what a date is supposed to be. Back to this. Everybody I have, here's the fundamental, the crux of the problem here is that everybody I have let go, like, I'll explain it and they'll go, no, like, I mean, that was a hard one. That had a hole in the board. Or no, that one had a lot of liquid everywhere. Or, oh, like, that customer was really mean. Or like, that person was mean. Or that person was a Karen. Or that guy was just against me because he didn't like the sound of the look of it. Like, nobody agrees. Like, most people don't take it well when you tell them that they suck. And they will argue. So, again, it's going to come down to a subjective decision. It's going to come down to somebody having to make that decision subjectively. And again, my main problem with this is the person who's going to make the decision is probably one of the worst people imaginable. All right, time to get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you learned something.